study after study have been shown that making raises and just salaries alone don't accomplish the things that you want to. U.S. Department of Labor statistics, I mean, they prove that and they show that although the figures that we show, about a 21 or a 22% figure here of turnover, in the government sector it's slightly less than that, but frankly we fall within the average of the state and of the Southeast and the Southwest. So more than the salaries is going to have to be done. Secondly, I mean, the raises, and I know there's been a lot of emotion tonight, you know, politics aside, personalities aside, what's a good business decision? I don't think that the suggestion of the raises that you guys have proposed for yourself is the right decision to make. Giving yourselves the largest share above and beyond what is being given to the county employees is not a good decision, and we've seen it in businesses with companies such as Enron and companies such as WorldCom. Turnover of elected officials is not a problem. I mean, in my opinion, the only problem that we may have in there is we might not have enough of it. You know, people who are elected officials generally stay for a long time. You guys knew what the salaries were coming in, and if the salaries were not adequate, I mean, there was a solution, and I think the timing is just a bad timing for this. The question has been asked and needs to be answered, and I think the public would like to hear, why do you guys feel it merits the raises that you're giving yourselves alone and apart from the rest of the county employees? Fourth and lastly is just value. What is the value that we as taxpayers are getting from this plan from this year? What did I get for my money last year? What am I going to get? You're asking for more money from me this year. I know as well as you guys know what operating on a shoestring is like. Communicate with the public what you're doing. There's been lacking in communication that has come forward. Even for this meeting, the appearance was that this meeting was something that was avoided. Communicate with the public what you're doing. Communicate with the public what your wins are. I think we would like to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Bobby Mims.
My name is Bobby Mims, and I'm going to stand in favor of the commissioner's raise, especially for the employees. And I'll reiterate what Ms. Davenport said. This is a major operation. I don't know what the demographic projections are for the years 2030, 2040, and 2050, but this is what the last election meant, in my opinion, in electing these new commissioners on here, people that will look down the road 25 years for my children who will be here paying taxes and building an infrastructure, a jail, other things that we need, and not just look at what is you're going to pay today. Because we have to make an investment. One thing I will say that this county has been lacking in is leadership. The previous court that set up there, all they wanted to do was do nothing, in my opinion, and follow an agenda set up by the Smith County Taxpayers Association. Those people, many of them are here tonight, and they have a right to participate. But I personally believe that agenda is written and established for just today and for them. I'm interested in what's going to happen to this county for the next 30 and 40 years. Now, if it means the commissioners, and this argument said, well, you knew what you were going to get when you ran for the job, you could say that every time in every election in the future. I want talented people up there, and I believe we have talented people up here. All 5 of you are talented, and you deserve to be compensated equivalent to other counties. I expect that this county, in the next 20 years, we may see 200,000 people living in Tyler, Texas alone, and the county is going to be up 350,000 people. Now, that is an organization that needs to be planned for, and so I stand in favor of the budget. I wish we had more money to spend. I wish we could give the employees, who I work with every day, dedicated, bigger raise. But the amount of money that the commissioners have been budgeted for themselves on a dollar basis is insignificant in this budget. Now, with respect to the jail, it's got to be built. It's got to be built. And you can talk 99 million, 140 million, 200 million dollars, but it's got to be built. And no, you're not going to ever justify it on financial reasons. I'm going to tell you why. You got people locked up over there that if we can't incarcerate them, I represent them, that if they're let go, they're going to cost you much more damage, much more injury than you'll ever pay in taxes. So build the jail and vote your raises.
Thank you, Mr. Mims. Kevin Hampton.
My name is Kevin Hampton. First, I want to say that I have a deep respect for every member on this court because I know the work that they do, albeit some may declare that it's not being as adequate or significant enough to deserve a raise. Also, I am too a concerned citizen and one who have heard the many insinuations regarding this court through local medias. Yet, unlike many of you, those seeking increased circulation of viewerships do not persuade me by their fine-tuning of the news. I find it very hypocritical for those who stand before this court declaring you knew the pay before you took office and therefore you should not get an increase. It is hypocritical because not one individual in this room ever took a job or position without expecting an increase, if only because of the time they served the job. As a human resource manager, I have sat through many interviews and have not found one candidate, either professional or laborer, who willingly agreed to remain at their initial salary throughout their employment. And yet here in this room, many of you declare that it is a sacred concept to accept anything over initial salary. And once again, the false implication of part-time work has entered the fray. I personally know that commissioners receive calls throughout the day and night from citizens needing their help. I personally know that commissioners have no weekend off because of their accountability to the county. And I know they have no vacation that remove them from their responsibility in the county. Yet a handful of people from among 100,000 citizens stand here this evening insinuating the lack of work ethics of this court. The question to ask is why? They have implied that this budget will force them to vote against the jail election. I say in truth, they had no intention of voting for the jail. The jail initiative cannot be hijacked by budget process. You were elected to make business decisions for this county. Although you have chosen the route of electoral participation, it is still your ultimate decision concerning the jail. The salary committee made a proper business decision after following a process many corporations follow each year. Do they deserve a raise? The committee thought so after applying a business-like approach rather than a political approach to the process. A process no one has challenged, yet all seem to reject because of personal and political ideology, which should not be part of the process. I have a deep respect for all the members of this court and the employees of this county, and I thank you for this time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ken Good.
My name is Ken Good. The last budget workshop I came to that was crowded was over in the Central Jury Room. And it was a night that I will never forget, because it's the night that I decided to get active in politics. Because that was the night that we were looking at a budget that proposed firing many county employees, not because we had too much work or didn't have enough, just because that was how we were going to balance our budget that year. And I heard county employee after county employee stand up and say, I've been working for this county for 20 years and I make $21,000. And then I saw story after story where we had a county employee retire making $20-something thousand, and then to get somebody to take their job, we had to offer a lot more money. And it broke my heart. Tonight,